Hey everyone, I decided to do a vlog this week, or a video blog, a vlog as they call it. So I just wanted to talk about a couple of things that were close to my heart, and I just felt writing them, obviously you can bring the point across, but really speaking and talking from the heart I think would be a more effective way. So this is my first attempt at a vlog, so we'll see how it goes. What I wanted to talk about today is about November and what I'm planning to do in November. I've really decided that November is going to be the month of self, and I think we can often look at self in negative connotations, but how I'm looking at November's month of self is really positively. So I've had a couple of experiences over the last probably about 6 or so months. It's been quite a while, and I'm a Christian, so for me, life experiences come from the Lord, but for yourself, if I know a lot of people tend to talk about the universe or life lessons or whatever you identify with, sort of let it make sense in your own language and in the own language that you use. But for me, I've just found that I've been having a lot of life experiences, and what they've really done is completely stripped away everything that I identified myself with, or things that I had allowed to identify me. So things like my job, that I identified myself with the work that I was doing, and I enjoyed the work that I was doing. It wasn't that it was necessarily a bad thing to connect with, but I really found that I sort of placed a lot of my self-worth and self-confidence and sense of self into my job. Also relationships as well. A lot of my self-worth and self-confidence came from relationships that I had in my life. Also expectations. I think expectations are a fantastic thing. I think it's great to have an idea of things to do in the future and what you want to do in the future, but I think sometimes we can really identify and kind of interlace with our experiences, and often, or our expectations, sorry, but often expectations don't become reality. And if, especially for myself, I found that I wanted certain things to come to pass, and when they didn't, that really rocked my self-confidence, and it just really affected me in a lot of ways that I didn't sort of really expect to. I've always sort of thought of myself as a very strong person, and if things don't turn out, I bounce, and I've often said that about myself, like, I bounce, and things don't faze me, and I'm really strong. But I just found that over time I'd become quite soft, and I'm not talking about soft in terms of being compassionate and empathetic, but for me, I just found that things that really in the past wouldn't have affected me were really affecting me now. So what I really felt is over the last while, I really felt that a lot of these things were just being stripped away. Things that I thought I identified with, or things that I felt made me who I was, were being sort of pulled apart. So as I say, if you also want to say the universe, if you want to say the Lord, or if you want to say life lessons or whatever, but all of these things were kind of stripped away from me, and I found myself really in a position of thinking, who am I? And if I don't have these relationships, if I don't have this job, if I don't have this expectation that I hope for, who am I really? A couple of lessons that I learned, especially with regards to expectations, is that pausing with a plan doesn't mean you're letting go. I had great ambitions of doing a weekly check-in on my blog, and that went well for a while, but then I found that I needed my time elsewhere. I had fantastic ambitions of only working 3 days a week doing the telesales job that I'm doing for community work, and that's now bumped up to 4 days a week. I also had great ambitions and expectations, you could say, of doing a stress ebook, and I've done a whole heap on it. I was also in the process of creating courses, and that's just sort of had to pause for now because of other things in my life that have come up, and my time needs to be elsewhere. So I've really learned that pausing with a plan does not mean you're letting go, and I found that I was really not berating myself, but allowing the fact that I had to pause a lot of things and pause a lot of expectations that I had. I found that really affected me, and I felt as though I wasn't living up to the expectations that I had, and it also really knocked my self-confidence. I had a question asked of me a while ago, just a really simple question, and it was, what do you do for fun? And it just really made me think, and I thought, well, I don't really do anything for fun. And the person said to me, is that by choice or by circumstance? And it was definitely circumstance. And all these experiences that I've had, that stripping away that I've had, and this question really kind of brought me to a place where I was thinking, well, hang on a minute, what's really going on in my life? Where am I headed in my life, and who am I, really in my life? Also, I had the opportunity where I had circumstances happen that I really had to stand up for myself. And in the one case I stood up for myself, I felt I was really articulate in how I stood up for myself. And the outcome wasn't particularly positive, even though I felt that I really stood up for myself, and I hesitate to use the word defended, but I felt that I was able to, I suppose, to defend myself. The expectations and how I thought the outcome would be were completely different. It has sort of, in a roundabout way, worked out to be beneficial, but at the time I didn't quite see it. The other experience that I had where I stood up for myself, I felt that it was a really beneficial outcome, and I felt really good about it, and it helped me to boost my self-confidence. So I've had quite a lot of these experiences of having things stripped away from me, but then also experiences where I've had the opportunity to stand up for myself and just to realize that I can get my self-confidence back, and who I am, and I've got self-worth. So November, as I said, is going to be my month of self. And that's really just what I wanted to talk about. Often self can be looked at in many bad ways. We can be self-indulgent, we can be selfish, we can be self-centered, we can be self-obsessed. So we look at self as often being a negative, in negative connotations. But for myself, I really want to look at November as being a positive self. So looking at things that are going to build my self-worth and help me feel that I do have self-worth, things that are going to build my self-confidence, things that are going to build my self-belief, things that are going to help me to have self-care. And that's something that I'm really quite passionate on, is self-care. I had just like a moment when I was talking to somebody, and again, I've had a lot of people in my life that have said to me, you need to be looking after yourself. You need to be finding things and refinding things that you love doing, and doing things that make you happy. And they mentioned something, and I was just really upset about a situation that had happened. And I just thought to myself, if I'm coming and saying I'm the self-reliant shepherd, and I want to teach people to be self-reliant, and I want to teach people to be okay, and to look after themselves, and to empower themselves, and nourish themselves, and all these things, it needs to come from self. Everything that we do, I believe, comes from self. If we aren't okay in ourselves, and if we aren't looking after ourselves and self-reliant, we can't help others. And for me, I really feel that self-reliance is that sense of self, and that strong sense of confidence and self-care, and being able to look after yourself and help yourself, and be adaptive to different situations, and still come out with self-confidence and self-worth. And then from there, being able to work together with others. But it really starts with ourselves. So yeah, it just sort of struck me that I thought, all these things have been stripped away from me, so I can really think about who am I. And then I've had experiences that have helped me build my confidence, and also experiences that have allowed me to see how my self-confidence has really taken a bit of a knock. And it wasn't overnight. It wasn't like one experience and something happened and suddenly I felt not very confident. It was very incremental, and it was very slow, and it was a process over time. And I think for many people it is like that. It's not one big event, it's just many little things that happen, and you kind of lose yourself. And often that's to do with kind of circumstances that are maybe beyond your control, or where you've tried to do what you thought was right, and you've tried to nourish others and been there for others, but you've neglected yourself. So what I found in October is I did a lot of yoga, which I found was really beneficial for self-care, and I've been using my essential oils on a daily basis. I'd say I've probably used essential oils a lot more in the last 2 or 3 months than I have in all the years that I've been using them, and really using them in terms of emotional benefits, and encourage them. Using lavender when I need to speak to anybody, just rub it on my throat. Using bergamot, which is a great oil for self-assurance, just rubbing that on the solar plexus or on the heart, and just really finding these ways to support myself. So I really found it in October, yoga, using the essentials, and also using my acupressure mat were really helping me sort of get into that framework. What I'm going to be doing for November is just a lot of different ways of looking after myself. So I wanted to share them just because I do think that there are a lot of people out there that need help with self-confidence, or need help just to be more and be better. And part of my vision, or part of what I really want to do is to help people to achieve that in their own lives. And I'm really grateful for the circumstances that I'm having, because if I don't have them, and if I don't find a way to get through them and share that, then how can I turn around and say, oh, I'll help you, if you're not feeling confident, if I've never not felt confident, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to share them. So what I've started off doing for November is I wrote down 5 things that I really enjoy doing. So for me, my 5 things are exploring. So I love just going out and exploring different places, looking at different, just things. I'm not a big thing person, like stuff person, I could say. I love experiences, so I really like going to different places. I remember probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago we went to Lake Mugra, which is not too far from the Gold Coast. Just really nice. It's just a lake and there's a dam, so I mean it doesn't have to be the Eiffel Tower, but just going out and experiencing things, that's something I really love doing. I love photography. I love taking photographs. I think it's a really great creative outlet, so I really enjoy that. I love doing yoga. I absolutely adore it. I think it's fantastic, really good for the body, the soul, and it's just, absolutely love it. I also love swimming. I'm a big fan of swimming, especially swimming in the ocean. I think it's great. I love it when your hair just gets all that like salty sea kind of, and you taste like salt, and I absolutely love it. I have some really awesome memories of just being in the ocean, so I really love doing that. And then lastly, I really like cooking. It's a way for me to show love for people, and also I just love the creative side of things. So what I've done for November is I've written down those 5 things, and I'm committing each week just to do one of those things. So whether it's going swimming, or whether it's going exploring, or whether it's taking some photographs, doing some yoga in a special way. I mean, I do yoga pretty much every day, but just doing something special with it, maybe going to a class or something like that. That's what I'm committed to. So I just really wanted to put it out there as a way to be accountable myself, but also just to share with others, because our self-confidence can take a knock, and often it's not that obvious. Sometimes different little experiences that you have, or people in your life will kind of point out to you that maybe you're not doing things that you used to do, or maybe you're not being as confident as you used to be. So I just really wanted to share and hopefully inspire you to write down your 5 things that mean a lot to you, and 5 things that you can commit to do for yourself. I really think that there is a balance in life, but if we're not focusing on the good selves, like the self-worth, the self-care, the self-confidence, the self-belief, the self-reliance, if we're not focusing on those, that there's nothing else really we can do in life. Obviously we don't want to veer on the side of being selfish and self-centered, but I really think there's a lot of benefit and a lot of value by positively focusing on ourselves. So I encourage you to join me for November. I will be posting updates and just sharing what I've been doing on November as my month of self. It's also my birthday month as well, so I thought that was pretty sort of appropriate, I suppose. Well, it's been really, really great talking, and I'm really looking forward to sharing more and to helping you to become your best self. And I know that that's only possible if I really look after myself and become my best self. And that's really, for me, encapsulates what self-reliance is all about. So thanks for watching, and have an awesome day, night, whenever you're watching. Take care.